week number 13 of high school playoff football. Welcome aboard, everyone. DeNatale and Tyler Carey. It's our WKYC.com high school football playoff preview show. We have reached the regional final round, and I got to tell you, it's not the state championship weekend, but it feels like it with some of the matchups that are going to be going on throughout the area, including our game of the week as well as a couple of other big games going on throughout the area.
Dino, any one of these matchups you could have almost considered the game of the year, let alone the game of the week, but I think we may have the game of the year, even if these guys end up getting to the state championship game, and this may be the biggest game in the entire country this Friday night. St. Edward taking on Menor, two nationally ranked teams, the top two teams in the state, in D1 at least, by most calculations. Only one loss between them. That one loss by St. Edward came to Menor by a single point back in week one. I mean, just the more and more I think about this game, the more and more I write about it, I hear from the players, the more excited I get for what's going to happen in Parma. There are so many
things to kind of look at in this game. You have last year's state champion, the defending champs, St. Edward. You have the team that they knocked out last year, Menor. You have Menor playing on an emotional high right now, 12 straight wins, as they're really playing now for their head coach, Steve Trevisano, who's retiring at the end of the year. I've dubbed this the Steve Trevisano Farewell Tour. It's rolling into a stadium near you this week at Parma, which is where we'll be at Byers Field.
No better place to have it, in my opinion.
No better place to have it. There's a lot of playoff history between these two schools. They seemingly, I feel like every other year, somewhere between St. Edward, St. Ignatius, and Menor, they play each other in this round of the playoffs.
I still remember sitting in, at the time I was working at a busboy at D'Angelo's in Twinsburg. There's a shout out for you, Paul. And after hours, we were watching, I think it was a regional final game between Menor and St. Ignatius, and that game went to like double or triple overtime. And Mitch Trubisky led him to a win, and you just think of moments like that and other great moments at Byers Field and all the great teams that have come through that place. It's just, it's perfect. It all wraps up to what it seems like is going to be a perfect night in Cuyahoga County.
The weather is supposed to be better. It's not going to be frigid. So thank you, Betsy, and thank
Brian
you,
Crane will be happy about that.
This is everything. 12-0, 11-1. Tomorrow night, Byers Field will be on at just before 7 o'clock. Dennis Maniloff and yours truly. Folks, just sit back and enjoy this game. That's kind of my approach as I've gotten ready to announce it. I mean, this is just, it's special. And I think you're going to see a special kind of game. And here, when we deliver the broadcast to everybody, it's going to be special. I just think it's going to be, you always wonder, Tyler, is if the sequel is better than the original, talk about movies. Well, in most cases, no. In some cases, Godfather Part 2, The Dark Knight, whatever, yes.
Hopefully it's not Godfather Part 3.
Yes, I don't want Russ Mitchell can tell you. You want the Godfather Part 2. I really do think this is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow night.
We had
sit back and enjoy
Nick Camino and David Kinder, two of our sports producers and anchors, they went out and talked to Steve Trevisano, Tom Lombardo about this game. Trev is trying not to focus on the fact that this could very well be his last game if they lose. He just said, look, we're just focusing on getting ready for St. Edward. We're playing a good team. St. Edward's, same thing. They're just trying to not think about what happened in week one. Well, you think about it a little bit, but you're like, all right, we've evolved since then. We've had players come back since then. We're a different team than we were all the way back in August. Weather's going to be different. The atmosphere is going to be different. The stakes are obviously different. And just the amount of players on both sides. I mean, St. Edward has at least 7 Division I recruits. Montori Foster, by the way, who Pat Chiesa did a story on him. He has not played football since 7th grade, joined the team again this year, and has now accepted an offer to go to Michigan State and play under Mark D'Antonio, assuming Mark D'Antonio is still there next year.
He says he's going to be there.
Yes, but we'll see if Michigan State wants him next year. And then on Menor's side, they don't have as many D1 recruits as they've had in the past. So we think, all right, this team's maybe not as good on paper, but my Lord, have they just blown through that schedule?
This might be one of the, they may not have the best, blue chip players, but as a team, this might be their best. And in a year where St. Ignatius had a down year, this might be their best chance to win a state championship, and ironically, their head coaches last year. All right, that's Division One. That's our game of the week. We couldn't be more excited, but there are a couple of other tantalizing games. Division Two.
Yes.
At InfoCision Stadium.
He brought it out.
Ah, yes. Carl
Look,
Bachtel brought this for me. Yes.
I do want to say this is not an endorsement of Massillon.
This is not an endorsement of Massillon. It's not an endorsement of
against Hoban.
Nope.
I, of course, am a Catholic, so I am not against parochial schools, and neither is the maker of this shirt.
But just understand, this is the passion. This is the drive. This is how badly these two teams can't wait to see each other. A state championship rematch, Division II, Region 5 at InfoCision Stadium. It'll be Massillon and Hoban tomorrow night.
Well, you think about what happened last year in that state championship game where Massillon tried to make it close late, but they really were overmatched by that great Hoban team. And they're thinking about that. That revenge factor is on their minds, obviously, as you can see from those shirts. I've said all along, this is one of the best Massillon teams we've seen in a long time with Jaden Ballard and Aiden Longwell, the quarterback, who's, by the way, signed to go to Kent State on a baseball scholarship. He's going to pitch for the Golden Flashes. Tells you how good an athlete he is, that he's not going to play football there. But I feel like if they don't win it this year, I don't know if they ever will. And Hoban had a tough game against Mayfield last week. Mayfield's a very good team, but maybe this is finally the year where Hoban gets knocked off their perch and Massillon can go on that run.
We've had a lot of people commenting, by the way. Thomas saying hello from Independence, should be a great game, talking about, I think he's talking about Menor and St. Ed. Alex saying go Eds. Maryland saying go Cards. I love that. Love the passion. That's Region 5.
That game going to be at InfoCision Stadium in Akron, by the way.
In North Ridgeville, very excited for the Lorain County community. Avon and Avon Lake will meet at North Ridgeville. I couldn't be more excited for Lorain County people. That was much like the Menor and St. Ed's game. That game was decided by a razor-thin margin in Week 1, and it was Avon who came out of that game with a win. Avon Lake's been playing so well since then, and it's almost, I think, for Avon Lake, it's like, man, we're not going to be Avon now. When are we going to beat them here?
Well, that's the thing. I think Avon Lake is playing about as well as anybody in the state at this point. Avon has had some injury issues, but it really hasn't affected them. They've blown through their first few games since then. And you're right, it's going to be that rivalry factor, that rematch factor in North Ridgeville. It's going to be, again, I'm kind of jealous because, well, not jealous, I'm bummed out because all these games are happening at once. You'd love to be able to do one of them, but I guess we're spoiled in that way. We get to do all, we get to, in some way, cover all three. We'll move on from that, Dino, to Division III, Region 9. Now, you talked to...
I talked to Mitch Hewitt, Chardon's coach, at the end of the game. We knew it was going to be Chardon and Aurora in Division III in the regional final. Mitch Hewitt said, unless you have a wedding or a funeral to go to, you need to be at that game. And talking about Aurora and Chardon.
Oh, we're going to be in Parma, so we apologize,
Sorry,
Mitch.
I would love to be at that game. I think it's going to be a tremendous battle. If you love defense, I think you're going to be in for a treat in that game. But the fact that both teams, Chardon, despite the fact they play the wing T and it's supposed to be slow, the way Joey Trevisano runs the wing T, feels like more of a fast break offense, even though the clock ticks quickly. And Aurora can throw the football. So I don't know, we could be in for anything with this matchup.
Well,
but
Chardon,
the common denominator to me, those two teams, is defense.
Well, Chardon made a statement last week with that big, huge win over Streetsboro in our game of the week. Joey Trevisano had a great game. We've said this Aurora team may be the best we've seen, maybe since that state title team back in 2008. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
That game will be in Solon, by the way, which is where we were last week, ironically.
Right back at Stewart Field.
Region 10, Division 3, Sandusky taking on Mansfield. That game will be in Clyde. So 5 all-local matchups in those first 3 divisions. Division 4, Perry, the top seed in Region 13, will take on Poland Seminary. That is Saturday, excuse me. That will be in Austintown. Perry, the only local team left in Division 4. Division 5, this is the last all-local matchup. New Franklin Manchester taking on Kirtland in Bedford.
I love that game. I think on Saturday night, that's going to be fun. First things first, I love being at Bedford. But, Manchester's been one of the really sneaky stories of the year, and they've played so well. And you say, well, 9-3, but they beat. I mean, we went through their schedule. They've had some tough games, and Kirtland just seemingly now has kind of found their playoff gear. I think
they won 38-7 over South Range. They finally, all right, we got to step it up now.
Yep.
One note, one of New Franklin Manchester's best players, Ethan Wright, he's a running back for him, skill position player. He is an athlete, one of the top one of the top recruits in the state. He was committed to Duke. He has decommitted. In the week leading up to, in fact, it was before last week's game, he decommitted. Rumor is he's going to go to Cincinnati, but he has some offers from some Big Ten schools as well. So we're going to have to see, but that's going to be a great game. And then elsewhere in Division 5, the defending D5 champion Oroville is going to take on top-seeded Oak Harbor in Elyria in Region 18.
Can you imagine Kirtland and Oroville playing in a state semifinal game? I'd have to look. They did the pairings announcements of who's going to play, which region will play which region when we get to the state semis.
That is a note for all of you. We don't know who these teams are going to play in the state semifinals. If they win, they will re-bracket. We're assuming that they may group some of the Northeast Ohio teams together.
Actually, we do. They announced it 2 days ago.
Oh, they did?
Yes. So real quick, because I know we got what matters most coming up here.
We got time.
Division 1, it'll be Region 1 against Region 3.
Okay.
And then it will be in Division 2, 5 versus 6.
So the winners of these games that we mentioned will play each other in the state semi.
Hoban-Massillon winner will get Avon Lake in the state semis, and that would probably be our game of the week next week, depending on where everything's going to be. And then Division 3, Region 9 versus Region 10. So
same thing.
Yeah, Chardon, Aurora winner against Sandusky, Mansfield winner. Could also be a game of the week candidate. And then Division 4, Region 15 versus Region 13, and 16 versus 14. So that's for you Perry fans, just to note. And then for Division 5, Region 19 against Region 20. So, and then 17 versus 18.
So yes, it will be. If Kirtland and Oroville win, they could. Man, that's going to be a lot of fun. All right, real quick, because we are running out of time here. Division 6, one local team left. That is the Mogador Wildcats. They will take on top-seeded Springfield in Region 21. That will be in Beaver Township.
Okay.
And Division 7, I apologize. This is also on Saturday night. D6 is on Friday night. D7 Saturday night. This is the last local matchup. Lucas and Cuyahoga Heights from Canal Fulton. Yep. As we have said, Dino, I think in every single division, Northeast Ohio is capable of winning a state title in every single bracket. And it's going to be a fun weekend, especially that Friday night with all those big games.
Yeah, it's still out there, I think, for Northeast Ohio to go 7 for 7 in the state championships. I think that's still a possibility. Some great teams are going to get knocked out this weekend because you've got area versus area games. But
toughest part is going to be picking where we will go on Black Friday for that state semifinal matchup, because we're guaranteed to have at least 2 all-local matchups.
Area matchups. So we'll let you know next week. We'll have it'll be obviously a shorter work week next week with Thanksgiving, but we'll let you know. Are you working? I'm working Wednesday. You working Wednesday?
I think I'm working Wednesday, and I'll be here Black Friday too, obviously, to help with the game. Okay. And I do want to note too, we'll be writing some stuff on some of these games, the Menor St. Edward game and Massillon Hope and other stuff like that. We'll have that stuff up on WKYC.com if you want to read it, including interviews with the coaches, just analysis of the teams and their players. We've got all your coverage you need on WKYC.com this week, and we are really gearing up for what is going to be one of the best high school football weekends I've seen in a long time.
It's going to be amazing, folks. Enjoy it. Again, our game of the week, St. Edward and Menor. Tomorrow night from Parma's Byers Field. We'll join you just before 7 o'clock for all the action plus scores and updates from games across the area. All right, What Matters Most starts in 2 minutes, so we are out. For Tyler Carey, I'm Dave DeNatale. Thanks for watching our WKYC Game of the Week preview right here on Facebook Live and YouTube.